Good. There it goes. Hey, must be Ice Age TV YouTube channel. The dogs are going nuts. Good Wednesday morning. Jesus Christ. Tell you what, this one of those mornings, it's crazy. I mean, I overslept. I mean, you ever heard the saying, I got your back? Yeah, well, if you're married to the right person, that's sometimes a blessing. I mean, Jesus Christ, what a night, what a day. What are the conversations today? But before I get into much, last night, this is crazy. I live on I live on the main road per se, but I mean, this isn't a road like it's the highway, but I'm on a corner of a main road. And for all those who watch my channel, out of my ear, you'll see that I got a hearing aid. I have hearing aids in both ears. So when I take my hearing aids out at nighttime, I'm borderline deaf. Yeah, I mean, my the ancestry of my family father's side is just deafness and hearing issues. Everybody has a challenge, right? So last night, this is like 10:30 at night, and I'm inside, and I'm way on the other side of the house, and I went to the kitchen to get something, and my wife's borderline asleep, and all of a sudden, I hear this knocking noise on my front door here, and so for me now, I'm come up, dogs are going nuts, and I, look through my window, and there's this young lady that's just in hysterical crying, and just crying for help, about her mother's been hurt in a car crash. Now, for me as an individual, anymore in today's world, I just wonder, is this a setup? I mean, especially for a guy here like me, showing all my property and all my cars and toys. If you don't think that I'm always second guessing what's going on around me, then you don't really know me. Meaning I'm prepared. So, but this is pretty classic. Well, first of all, so I really questioned who this person was. They were just going crazy. So finally I kind of opened the door up and looked at her and looked around, and I could tell that this is probably real. And so I came out to her, and she is pointing down there at the end of the street that her mother just crashed the car and her mother's injured and she needs help. So now, this is what's classic. In life we all make choices. And yeah, I'll be the first to raise my hand. Making all these stupid ass buying car choices all my life, was that the right choice? Yeah. Would I be worth millions more if I didn't do it? Probably. Yeah, we all have our challenges. But here's the thing. So now I'm going back inside the house to get a phone to call 911. And I'm not lying. I walk in the house, the back door. My wife now is asleep, borderline, I guess. She's standing there with 357 Magnum. So, you ever heard, I got your back? My wife, you have no idea. You have no idea how good a shooter my wife is. I'm not embellishing. I'm just telling you the facts. My wife, oh my God, or am I late? Yeah, I was telling you, I slept in. My wife saved me twice last night and this morning. So my wife, I'm not lying to you. Now her father, oh my gosh, he was a huge hunter and fisherman. And he taught her young how to shoot guns. I've told this story before. We went and took a gun class in like 2000 because we wanted to get some handguns. And I'm not lying, after the class, she outshot the instructor. My wife with a 357 Magnum, we hit the same target over and over again. I'm not embellishing. People, I don't show my wife, she doesn't want to be in this stuff. She wants nothing to do with it, so, and so then she actually woke me up this morning for sleeping in. I mean, Jesus Christ. I can honestly say, people look at me and go, man, you just buy cars and buy this and that. But one thing, could I have had 2, 3, 4, 5 homes? Could have I sold this place? Could have I had different girlfriends and wives? And no, that's not who I am. I'm just a motorhead to the max. So yeah, so what's the conversations today, right? What's the conversation? And so, well, here, let me just finish up. So the poor young lady, I got a hold of the fire department, which is only about a mile away, and sure enough, they all showed up. But then what's really weird is a younger man, her brother, and a younger lady showed up in my front yard as well. They climbed over the fence, and I could see the car right down there at the intersection. It crashed last night. And You know, and it's just kind of, I think unfortunately this young lady wasn't like mentally stable. And it's just kind of weird on how, you know how we talk about technology all the time? I got to think last night, it's like, this is crazy. So apparently it was the mother and father, her brother, and some other woman. So there was what, 5 of them? And nobody had a cell phone? I mean, really, think this through. 5 people were in a car last night, right up and got in the, you know, they ran off, the mother drove off the road and hit a tree. But nobody has cell phones. I don't know. I mean, you know, for me, once the fire department and police all showed up, I went back to my house. Oh yeah. So yeah, what's the talk conversation today? Good Lord, I gotta get my office here. Too much noise down here in my shop right now. All right, the dogs have reported to work. Yes, they have. They're ready. It's the routine, the morning routine. And is my lens doing okay? Sometimes this lens is a little dirty and doesn't look that great. Do I need to clean it? Yes, what's going on? There's so much going on. You know, or every now and then I watch my videos and I have that, you know, and it's like, golly, I hate when I do that. Some people just have a tendency to do that. So the conversations today, boy, I tell you, it's something. I'm not a stock guy. I wish in hindsight that I would have been a stock guy. I think that I could have done really well as far as, for me, I just have gut instincts. And for me, this isn't about me wanting to prove I'm right. It isn't about that. It's just about me talking out loud about how I think it's so interesting when the pandemic came in and just totally destroyed my company and business. I mean, totally destroyed it. You have no idea. I was making half my income. If you look around my property and see all the toys I have, you don't survive. You can't. And I barely survived. And I had, people have no idea during the pandemic how I lost business. I lost people that worked for me. That pandemic destroyed me. I'm not lying. But if we have my daughter with me, you know, my daughter helped me incredibly amount my business. I mean, I do a lot of manual labor. People don't know that stuff, and I'm not disclosing what I do. But what I do is like anything else. I make it look easy, or do I? Yeah, you know, and nothing was given to me. And so, you know, during the pandemic, just incredible hardships. But I had yet friends that made so much money. It's insane. You know, I had friends that just made so much money. And then I've talked about how the PPP money was handed out left and right to people who didn't even deserve it. It's now 47 people now are getting ready to be indicted for taking $45 million in a pandemic scheme for that PPP money that was supposed to go to you know, people that were starving, and you know, and just, oh my gosh, man, just sick people in this world. Sadly, the greed of mankind, it'll never end. You know, you'll be sacrificed. And it goes on all the time. That's mankind, you know. What's Russia doing? You know, and it's not a political channel. But I can't get over how our military didn't go into Ukraine. I just can't believe the European countries. This makes no sense to me. And once again, it's not the political comment here. It's just, you step back and think about it. I was talking about this before it all happened. You know, Putin just runs his mouth all the time. And you just have to say to yourself, if you would have gotten Germany and, you know, England, France, if you had gotten just 3, Israel, I'm just going off the tip of my tongue. If you just had like 3 or 4, and then Ukraine, and then America would have just gotten up in front of the border of Russia and just did a total stand down of, you ain't coming into Ukraine. And I don't know anything about Ukraine. I honestly don't. Some people say it's a Nazi country. It's so much illegal stuff goes over there. It's crazy. I have no idea. All I know is what's going on isn't accomplishing anything. I mean, who would have believed that Russia, I'll raise my hand. I thought Russia would go in there and just totally destroy them. Ha! Yeah, right. Yeah, Russia. It's beyond believable that Ukraine, I know Ukraine's getting a lot of support from us and other countries, but here's the point. If we just would have gone and put the wall up of military in front of, you know, Russia, I think they would have gone back home. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not the military expert, but why wouldn't our military people just worldwide. I'm not just talking about us. I'm talking about Germany. I mean, look at Russia's done to Europe and Germany. That's look at what is going on. Is it revenge? This morning I thought part of me says today's conversation is revenge. Is it revenge? What is going on in our country? And speaking of that, today is a very important day on the economy because, Powell is going to raise the interest rates. They're speculating another 3/4 points today. And the housing market data is going to be released at 10 a.m. So today, what's the market's going to do? You have a 30K Dow, in my opinion, when you had a close to 40K Dow. Is it revenge? I mean, we had a previous administration where the economy, seemed to be doing, here's the thing. You can go back the last 12 years, and it's because I don't want this to become political. I do not want to get in a political argument to people because I might be the guy that's going to fall for a politician. You're foolish. You're foolish. Politicians are hired by big business. They pay them to do what they want to get done. So you're a fool. If you're a political person fighting for a certain party, that you're not connecting the dots, that a powerful people with money are directing the narrative when they elect certain officials. So you'll have one administration in that leans this way, and then you have another administration leans the other way. Why? It's because it's all about the money. The money. That political person standing in front of you or blabbing their mouth all day long, somebody's telling them what to do. So don't want to get into that. But the whole point is, if you look at from 2010 on, after we had that huge recession, 2008, 9, 10, and 11, 12, we kind of started recovering and we started kind of moving forward, and the economy life started coming back, and we really had incredible successful times. And up to the pandemic, we were still rocking and rolling for the most part. And then during the pandemic, it was like a split in the middle, where one sector of the economy even did much better, while another sector of the economy just totally went to the ground. And so, for me, mankind, unfortunately, works off of revenge. That's how we're programmed. I mean, it's just very sad. And for me, that's been a huge challenge for me in my life, my whole life. But I've been incredibly successful because I haven't gone down that path. And I tell people I'm close with that you don't operate off revenge. Somebody can do something to you that just makes you so mad. And the instantaneous thing that you want to do is you want to harm that person because they harmed you. I grew up in the church. So I'm a godly person. I believe in God and I pray and I read the scriptures and I go to church and I enjoy that. And that's just who I am. That's how I was brought up. That's my family. Now, some people watch my YouTube channel, they could be an atheist. Okay. That doesn't mean I don't like you. You could be totally opposite of me. So what? I don't care. It's all about communication, and we respect one another. I'm not going to judge you. You don't need to judge me. It's all about respect. And so what I've learned through my, learnings and beginnings of my life is don't do the revenge thing. If somebody does something to you, you instantly want to do something to them. And I've been incredibly successful and blessed from not doing that to others. I truly believe that for me, I've been blessed so many times in my lifetime because that's not who I am. I just don't do it, and I won't do it. And over in the Middle East, it's sickening. In the inner cities, it's sickening. It's revenge. And I try to explain that to my daughter, that the inner cities is a drug-related problem. It's the gangs. It's the guy, the young boy, could be a young girl that doesn't have a family. And it's family. It's family. The inner cities challenge is the family. It's all about family. Start pointing fingers at race and this and that. I'm sorry. I'm not going to play that game. It's family. There's incredibly successful people that are not look like me. It's sad that more than ever today, the media wants to ratchet up because you look a certain way, you're treated a certain way. It's sickening beyond sickening, and it just is bad. And so you go to the inner cities. And tell my daughter, I said, what goes on there is a young person is managing now a business of selling drugs. And sadly, what happens is that young person will decide to give somebody drugs, okay, meaning so a dealer gives them drugs, and now they're on the hook to pay for the drugs once they sell them. So then the young person goes out and instead of selling drugs, gives the drugs. And, I'm no expert in this, I'm not a drug dealer, but just on the surface, this is only what I think that probably usually plays out. So that young person, doesn't have to be a young person, but that individual, it's inexperienced, they go out and they give some of their buddies the drugs, with them being told they're going to get the money, tomorrow, checks in the mail. And then that young, inexperienced drug dealer then is on the hook for a ton of money, and he can't get the money because his friends aren't paying him his money. So then it turns into the revenge factor. So the first revenge is the drug dealer that gave out the drugs is having to go track down his buddies that didn't give him money and take him out. And then the big drug dealer gave the drug dealer the big monies that's not getting paid from the guy chasing people to get money. Then he's taken out. I mean, it's just a vicious cycle. And it's revenge. And over the Middle East, it's revenge of the long history of hatred of religions against each other. Revenge. And more than ever today, you have to start just stepping back in our country. And what is going on? Is the revenge factor at the highest it's ever been? I think the revenge factor is more than ever because you have two political parties that just hate each other. I mean, this makes no sense. We're supposed to have a governing democracy of our governing bodies of political figures are supposed to be looking out for the best of the country's citizens, not for just select few and then the others not. But more than ever, it seems like it's just like split in the middle or split 2/3 of, we're giving this to this, but forget you on that side. Is right now the green agenda revenge? I mean, you more have to say to yourself, I know for a fact that the green agenda got going long before I came along in the YouTube channel, long before electric cars started happening. I had the Hummers where people were burning those things down. It was revenge. It was, you're driving a car that's going to destroy mankind, so you're bad. And since you're bad, I'm burning your car up. I mean, what came from that? You just lit a Hummer up, that you're just now polluting the freaking environment with all the chemicals that Hummer's built on. I mean, does this person even stop to think what they're doing? So, for me as an individual, it seems like more than ever in a lifetime, the narrative is revenge. Yes. Right now you're witnessing governors flying immigrants to other governors and mayor cities because it's revenge. Because they don't like on how these other governors and mayors are viewing how the illegal immigrants are coming to this country. Something that really irritates me is, and this is the common remark, is, well, the illegals is out of control. And once you take a position, well, those illegals should be coming in here, then the next response from somebody is, but this is America, and everybody has a chance to come here. Yes, that's 100% correct. When did we say you couldn't come here? The difference is, which nobody talks about in the media, oh no, my kid's calling me, this ain't good. When your kid's driving to school in a Mustang and she calls before she gets there, what's my first inclination? Yeah, this ain't good. Yeah, she doesn't usually talk and drive. She has hands-free driving, but at the same time, yikes. So going back to the illegal immigration thing, I don't understand this. I don't understand why we're arguing about this because, and I get all this. I get that other countries are not nice to their people, which for me as an individual, the way I look at this is, yeah, but the governing bodies of other countries want their people to leave because they can't support them. So they want them to come here. So don't get me wrong. This is not going to be a political, conversation. I'm just talking in general about revenge, which I think revenge is, a word that is very strong today because it just seems more than ever us as a country and citizens, it's the revenge factor. And what I thought to think to myself is, and let me just, sum up illegal immigration. So what I'm trying to say to you as an individual is, yes, I have compassion for others, and it's not good what's going on in other countries and people are coming here. But what always befuddles me is we do have legal immigration. And I get it. It takes time. I get it. It's too complicated. I'm not going to go down that path on my YouTube channel to have people argue with me about that. That's not my YouTube channel. But once again, I just referenced how it's revenge and how one party's now flying immigrants to another party's, town. It's called revenge. And so in the green agenda is this revenge against the Ice Age people? Is this what's going on? You're hearing, in 2035, people need to understand this correctly. 2035, supposedly laws are being passed that the automotive dealerships can't sell new ICE cars. They didn't say they couldn't sell used ICE cars. So that's kind of misled there. But at the same time, is it revenge? I mean, oh my gosh. I just think more than ever in our lifetime, revenge is being used more than ever, which is creating so much hate. Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, you know as well as I do. There's just so much hate nowadays. So a lot of you are like, what the hell? This is all kind of going over the place this morning. Well, to a degree it is, but at the same time, I think that we need to be cognizant of the environment we're in more than ever. And once again, I've said this many times, without the cars in this country and oil and gas, we're a third world country. You go to the third world countries, what do they not have? They don't have huge infrastructure of cars. They don't have huge infrastructure of gas stations and fuel. So for me, there's the So for me, cars are part of our economic conditions, our happiness and unhappiness. Yeah, I mean, look at Ford right now. What's going on with Ford? I'm not a big stock guy. I started that conversation earlier. But last September of last year, I cashed out of my stocks, and I didn't have a lot. I should have. Yes, in hindsight, I should. And am I going to get back in the market? I am, but I'm waiting for the market to be at 20 instead of being at 30. I don't think it's over. There's no way. The real stories are just starting to populate little by little. So Ford stock is now at $13. It was at $19. It's one of the worst stocks in the S&P 500 right now. 37% decline just in 2022. Ford has announced they're not going to be able to build 45,000 cars. They won't be able to complete them. Ford is, talking about how the chips are hurting their challenges. And yesterday, the day before, I was just talking about, hey, is Ford intentionally slowing things down? Well, now they're raising their hand and letting everybody know that, yeah, they're not doing that great. Isn't that something, Ford? That's hard to believe. Ford is the most dominant electric vehicle presence of the American side. I'm talking about VW or BMW or Hyundai. I'm talking about the American brand. Ford has been the one that's been getting premium money for the Mach-E and for the F-150 Lightning. And in all their cars, and all the Ford dealers are charging premium price. So it's kind of hard to believe that Ford is kind of borderline going the wrong direction. But for the investors, they are. So, is the revenge factor on, for me, revenge, what that radiates to me is it gets you in the end. So for your revenge actions, and that's what it is, it's actions, usually what plays out is things go sour. That's what I understand very well, is, I've had really bad things happen in my lifetime by others, and I could have gone out and done really bad things to them, but I haven't done it because I've always have sincerely felt that in the end, I'll lose. That's the way it plays out usually. The people on the revenge factor, in the end, I have a video called, Pray for a Miracle. And the power of prayer and the miracle prayer, pray for a miracle. And I talk in great length about what that means. And if you want to watch that video, it's buried in, way down there from a year and a half ago. But I'm just a true believer. If you're a godly person, and for me, another person may have different views of the science of the world or the physics of the world that creates and does things. But for me, I think it's just crazy in how you as an individual think on your revenge mode of doing things is going to create something to your advantage. And that's where you're wrong. That's where you're so wrong, that the revenge, and that's how we operate as individuals. We go out and we do things that are devious things to others that we think will end up enriching and benefiting ourselves. But in the end, you end up falling flat on your face. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is that more than ever today in our society, it seems the revenge factor is huge. I mean, it's just beyond believable of what, defund the police. What was that all about, right? I mean, that was revenge. It's revenge from others thinking that the police are bad people, and by harming them, by making their police force smaller, it's going to enrich those around those that feel like they were bad to them. I mean, and once again, I don't want to turn this a political channel, but I'm just sharing with you, if you just really stop right now in your life and look around at the political agenda, the media agenda, it just seems more than ever that it's revenge. And so once again, anybody watching my YouTube channel this morning be like, well, yeah, but this is more of a car channel. Why are you kind of going off on revenge? Well, because I'm radiating back to you. It seems more than ever that people are on a mission to punish the ICE, the ICE people with revenge. And what do you mean by that? Well, they want to take away our passion of the internal combustion engine, and they want to force us to drive electric vehicles because in their beliefs, they think that's the better way for things to work. And so borderline, it's revenge. It's no, you can't have that. California's telling people in 2035, if you want to buy a brand new ICE vehicle, you won't be able to buy it in our state. You have to go somewhere else. So, hey, here's the revenge factor, Mr. Ice Man. You're going to have to go way out of your way to try to buy an ICE vehicle brand new. You can't have it no more. So here's your electric vehicle that is the better thing for us in society, and be happy about it. Oh, okay, right, yeah. We all know how misled that information is, if that's going to create, or I should say solve the world's challenges. So, just going back to this morning about me, getting up, and that was, for me as an individual, I saw a person that was in dire straits, a young girl, and for me, I had to really evaluate what's going on, but in the end, I felt that as a human being, I did what I was supposed to do, instead of just ignoring the person, let them stand in front of my door and cry and wail and, until they left. I didn't do that, which some people would. Now, I was in my barefoot in my underwear and a shirt with no hearing aids. So how is that playing out, walking around a gravel driveway? Yeah, am I going to run down the street that's like 100 yards away from my house to save this daughter's mother? Yeah, I mean, it's nighttime. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. And that's what I was saying earlier is, I was thinking, what's going on here? Is this some setup? Yeah, I mean, that types of, you hear the stories of somebody comes to somebody's front door and then next thing they're getting robbed, right? And that's why I say, who's got your back? And so my wife, I mean, it was classic. When I walked back in that front door that I just showed you, and my wife's standing there with a 357 Magnum, yeah, do you think I picked the right woman? Oh, I know I picked the right woman. There's no doubt in my mind about that in my lifetime. Now the question is, can I pick the right damn car, right? So, oh gosh, you don't even want to hear this. And I kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday, but not much. So now, doing my research, we're going to move on from all the rhetoric of it turns political and makes people mad and angry because I don't agree with you, and you don't agree with me, which I have nothing to do with that. That's not my channel. But it's just kind of pointing out, to just look around what's going on. So now I'm doing my research on Hellcat Charger wide bodies, red eye. Yeah, and those things are rare. And sure enough, I'm at Coons Baltimore Ford yesterday. You saw me take my GT500 and said, hey, can I go in there and escape without buying a car? Well, sure enough, my car sales guy now has texted me a picture of a badass Charger Hellcat red eye wide body that he can get if I want it. It's a 2021, and basically the price of the car is basically what the MSRP was. So it's very similar to the Challenger Hellcat Gold Rush, where that was like a $95,000 car and I paid $94,000. Well, this one here is like $89,000. It's like $90,000, and they're wanting $92,000. Which is within reason. But what I've really been witnessing is there'll be a $77,000 Hellcat Charger wide body non-red eye that at $77,000 they want $88,000. Not at Coons Baltimore Ford, but it's just a marketplace. So for me, I've got mixed feelings, and the mixed feelings there for me, I'm not here trying to prove I'm right. I'm just telling you, my gut instinct over a year ago was this country's gonna have a change. It's gonna change. It's just inevitable. The incredible historic times of houses and housing prices and car sales and list goes on and on and on. I just think it's going to go the opposite direction. I mean, it typically does. Nothing lasts forever. You know, I've been in sales and business most of my life, and what's always happened in my life and career is you're pedaling up this mountain, and you pedal, 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 pedal. You get to the top of this mountain, you're a king of the hill. Like the Tour de France people, you know. I used to watch that a lot. I used to do a lot of biking when I was younger, and I really loved that stuff. Not so much now. But, yeah, I used to bike like 100 miles, you know, in a day. I mean, yeah, some may not believe that, but I did. That was back in the 80s. And I used to lift and exercise. I weighed like 160 pounds. I mean, I got pictures of that, but you don't want to see that. So, anyways, the whole point is in a business, it's just when you get to the top of the mountain, the next phase is you start going down the mountain. And then when it's all said and done, you're down at the bottom of the mountain. That's just the way business and life is. It's just a cycle. I mention all the time, it's like Mother Nature. We're having incredible, beautiful weather up here. You just have to say to yourself, when does it all change? Is winter going to be the blizzards and the coldest winter we've seen and accumulation we've seen up here in a long time, which that's the worst? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So the whole point is there's no way the economy continues to sustain itself where everything's so expensive. It just isn't, and the truths are trying to prevail. So for me, you know, do I push off buying a Hellcat Charger wide body red eye until next year when I really think the first quarter of next year is going to be when, you know, the sad stories are starting to prevail more than ever, meaning, you know, people have lost their car, people have been kicked out of their house, people have lost their jobs, blah, blah, blah. You know, and I wish none of this, I don't want this to happen to anybody. That isn't what I want to happen. I want things to simmer down. I want things to kind of get back in line. That I think everything's way overpriced, and I just think it's crazy times. But I don't wish no hardships, and you know I may be totally wrong. I mean, good. I'll be more than happy. Maybe call me out my chin and go, "You're so wrong. You don't know what you're talking about." I'll be like, "Okay, cool. I mean, help me out here, and I can only hope and pray that everybody does fantastic." I mean, that isn't who I am. I'm not a revenge person. Yeah, it takes a lot. That takes an incredible amount of discipline. You know, I talk about this in my Think and Grow Rich video on how there's 12 steps in life of, do you have a positive mental attitude? Do you have sound physical health? Do you have harmony with human relationships? Do you have freedom of fear? Do you have hope of future achievement? Do you have the capacity for applied faith? Do you have willingness to share one's blessings with others? Are you engaged in labor of love? Do you have an open mind, all subjects, all people? Do you have complete self-discipline? Do you have the knowledge to understand others? You know what the 12th one that comes to you if you master all those other 11 steps is financial security. The money then comes if you understand if you're, you know, who you are. And then what's really cool, the 13th is if you master all 12, you need to write those down. You need to get that Think and Grow Rich. You write all those things I just told you down. You put a check mark against all 12 of those. I'll be amazed. I'll be amazed if you honestly could put a check mark. I mean, even for me, complete self-discipline. When it comes to buying cars, yeah, right. Yeah, I'm a fail on that, right? Or am I? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, right. So 13th is the Sixth Sense. So, you know, this is a book written, and I have a whole video on it called Think and Grow Rich. And it's by Napoleon Hill, who eventually became a motivational speaker. And it was from the Dale Carnegie era, when Dale Carnegie was the magnet for all the steel that built Chicago and all the big cities. And so it's just a great book. It's a great tool for anybody here who watches my videos and wants to become bigger and better in life. It's a great book. But I've run into people that read that book and they can't name the 12 steps I just told you, which I read in 1988. And I remember those, you know, because I know you have to go through that list in your head and look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know, who am I? And, you know, and once again, people watch my videos and watch my YouTube channel will be like, you know, but this is a car channel. Yeah, but how did I get all my cars? How did I become successful? How did I make money? You know, where did I come from? How did that happen? I didn't go to college. I went to a Nova Community College for half a semester. I mean, so, you know, I'm the guy that couldn't wait to get out of high school. You know, I mean, yeah, I was the guy. I was probably a C. I was a C, probably B- student. I wouldn't, you know, I just wasn't groomed to be the college person. You know, if I would have been groomed by my parents to be the college person, you know, would I have probably been a lawyer? Would I have been a politician? How can you be a politician? You run your platform off of revenge, borderline. I mean, borderline, it's revenge. we'll get that other party. We'll fix their act. We'll show them how to do what we're going to do, and you ain't going to do. I mean, that's the whole political agenda. The hate of hate. And all these, I mean, for me, like Sean Hannity, I can't watch that guy. I mean, I think to myself, I could have been that guy. And what I mean by that, I could be a guy get on TV all night long and just bash the crap out of the other political party. Could I be Don Lemon? I mean, I'm sorry. You know, all these media journalists, all they do is make you mad. You know, I can go through the list on both sides of the frickin' equation. I don't care whether you're Democrat or Republican, whatever you are. When you watch this media machine of these journalists, it's all on CNN and MSNBC, the hate of Republicans. It's all on the Fox side, the hate of the Democrats. That's all it is. And then everybody wonders why the Democrats and Republicans hate each other. It's because it's just like the pandemic. People sat in front of TV all day long and were told, you're going to die. You're going to die. And that's why people didn't go anywhere. I was still running a business. Yes. Did I sit at home during the pandemic? No. I was working 7 days a week again. If you look at my channel, you'll see how I disappeared for a while. If you look at my beginnings, you do your research. I didn't show my face when I first started the YouTube channel. I didn't want to be in front of the camera. I really didn't, because I saw so many YouTube people that would just put their face in front of the camera and be bragging about everything they have and all the rap music or the big music and whatever. If that's your channel and you're making your ton of money, that's great. Because I don't want to be that channel, but that's the beauty of it. You're doing it different from me, so people like your style. People don't like my style, vice versa. But the whole point is, if you look at my true beginnings of my YouTube, it was back in February or March of 2020, just during the pandemic started to kind of come in. And then I disappeared. You know, I did some videos, I think March and April, but then I just kind of really disappeared. And you don't see my face. You just hear my voice behind, because I didn't want people to see me. I just, was I too shy? It wasn't so much that. It was just like, I don't really want this to be about me. I want it to be more about the passions that I love, which are cars, and share that to you so that you can hopefully be more focused on the car instead of me. That was kind of the goal and the thought process. All right, so lots of conversation, and just, once again, this is kind of, just more of a information, sharing ideas, giving views. And hopefully, my ideas and views and thoughts can help you become a better person. And this country needs to turn off the revenge factor. And this country needs to unify together, because the Chinaman is coming. Yeah, if you don't think I'm lying, your TikTok, it's sad. As everybody knows, YouTube has lost a lot of subscribers and people to TikTok. TikTok's a Chinaman. TikTok is only hoping to brainwash our younger generation. Remember, China's goal is to be one of none. And if you don't understand that statement, you need to think about that and research that. They want everybody to be the same. They don't want the independence of individuals. That's what this country is trying to convert to, is everybody wants to be the same. You can't be unique to your own individualism. Yes, very dangerous times. So everybody, appreciate you watching my YouTube channel. And today's going to be an interesting day and what the Fed does, because whatever the Fed does, whatever the housing market does, that's going to be a huge impact on what happens in the car industry. And that's why I talk about it. And back to the Dodge Charger Hellcat Red Eye, wide body, do I move forward to try to get that? They'd have to bring it in from somewhere else. I don't know. It's always an adventure. And apparently the Ford Maverick's being picked up this morning to be shipped up here and come this way. And then when that comes up here, I'll do a little more detailed information on that thing once it gets here, and we'll talk about that car. But that probably won't be until Thursday or Friday. So once again, everybody, thanks for watching my morning conversation, and appreciate the support and nice comments, and share my videos with others, and stay tuned for some more adventures.